So we're now going to be good researchers just like Melissa. And as we're looking in our book, Feathers Not Just for Flying, we're going to take some class notes. Because as a researcher, you're jotting down all the information that you think is important that you may want to include when you are sharing your information. So we're going to look at a couple pages in our story and we're going to make a chart. So our chart says, we're going to answer the question, how do birds use their feathers to survive? And what does it mean to survive? If they're trying to survive, they what? Wait, they want to make sure they're living. So we're going to first describe the feather. So we're going to say the feather is and talk about our adjectives. How does this feather help the bird survive? So what do they use the feather for? What's the job? And we're going to give an example, the bird that they tell us. So we're going to do one page at a time and talk about what it looks like, what the job of it is, and tell us what bird she used to give us an example. So our first one, these are our first feathers. So we're going to look at these feathers. And it says, so feathers can warm like a blanket. On cold, damp days, a blue jay stays warm by fluffing up its feathers and trapping a layer of warm air next to its skin. So first we need to describe the feathers. There was a key word that said that the feathers are what? Right, the feathers, he said that the feathers fluff, so we can use the word fluff. So we can write fluff or fluffy. And they also keep them what? The feathers are nice and what? They're not cold, they're what? They're warm. So here's our adjectives. They're fluffy and warm. And how did they say, what do they use those feathers for? What does it help the bird do, those feathers? Right, it keeps them warm. Because in order to survive, they want to stay warm. And what was the bird that she had in our story for this part? What type of bird is this? This is a what? Right, it's a blue jay. So our example for our bird, we're going to write, and I'm going to write capital letters because it's the name of the bird, blue jay. Awesome job. So we just did our first set of notes. Now we're going to go on to another set. So again, look at the feathers. What do they look like? How can we describe them? And what is the job? And what is the animal, the bird that she uses? So this one's talking about with the cushion. So here we go. Let's read the caption and see what it says. It says, a female wood duck lines her nest with feathers she plucks from her own body. These feathers cushion the duck's eggs and keep them warm. So if we're looking at this feather, how can we describe what this feather looks like? It is kind of fluffy again. And what else? Does it keep them comfortable or uncomfortable? So we can put fluffy again. They looked a little fluffy. And it keeps them what? Good, comfortable. That's a nice, strong adjective. And what did they use it for? To help them survive. What are we going to put in our next column? How does this feather help the bird survive? What do they use the feathers for? Right, it keeps the nest warm for the eggs. And what example, what bird did it tell us? So I want you again, it says a female wood duck lines her nest. So what type of bird is it? Right, it's a wood duck. All right, let's see if you're ready for our next feathers. So now this is the one that says it's going to keep its shade like an umbrella. So again, look at the feather because we're going to have to describe it. And listen how they use the feather to help them survive. So it says, as a hungry, tri-colored heron wades through the water in search of food, it raises its wings high over its head. The feathers block out reflections from the sky and shade the water. This makes it easier to spot tasty fish and frogs. So again, when we're doing our notes, we're first going to describe what the feather looks like. So the feather is what? Compared to those other feathers, it is pretty big. It looks bigger than our other feathers. Awesome. So one word we're going to write is big. They do look pretty big. And then how did they use this feather to help it survive? What did it say? How does the feather help it survive? What does it do? Right, it shades or blocks the sun. So it can what? Why is that so important? So it can what? Right, so it can fish. So it can find fish. And what was the name of this bird? What was the name of this bird? Right, it's a heron. So we're going to write for our example that it's a heron. Awesome job. We're going to try one more, so I hope you're ready. So this is one talking about how it protects like sunscreen. So again, we have our picture of a feather, and I'm going to read the caption, so listen for the information. It says, on sunny summer afternoons, red-tailed hawks spend hours soaring through the sky in search of prey. Their thick feathers protect their delicate skin from the sun's harmful rays. So it already has an adjective in there. What did it say its feathers are? It described them as what? It wasn't thin, it was what? Right, thick. So we can use our adjective thick for what it looks like for our describing. And what do they use those thick feathers for? How does those feathers help it survive? Right, it protects from the sun. And what was the bird that she used for her example? It was a type of hawk. I'm going to be more specific. It was a red-tailed hawk. Amazing work being good researchers. So we just did what Melissa did. We took down notes from our text. Great job.